Yo guys, what is going on? It's your boy Fxtch here, back with a brand new YouTube video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can actually find the perfect in-game sensitivity to be using in Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 4. This video is going to be tailored to each and every one of you watching this video as an individual. So what I show and demonstrate in this video, although that may work for me, it may not work for you. But again, that's solely because it's a demonstration, just me really showing you how to do it. And then you can go out your way and try this for yourself, where you'll actually get different results, which also isn't a bad thing whatsoever. That is kind of the end goal here, to find what works for you and not everyone else. I also think that's what makes this video so special. It's more of a learning thing. I show you and demonstrate the best way you can do this, and you go out your way and leave this video potentially on the road to becoming an all-round better player. But yeah, we're gonna cover that all in this video. Before we get into it, if you enjoyed the video, the least you can do for me is drop a like. It takes 2 seconds out of your day, really does help me and supports the channel more than you probably think. You can also go extra mile and subscribe if post notifications turned on, therefore you never miss an upload just like this. But yeah, without further ado, let's just hop straight into the video. So I guess before I give any methods and dive into the good stuff, first thing we need to discuss when speaking about Fortnite sensitivity and to help you understand what goes into that would be DPI. Now this is going to be a little bit boring to hear or learn about, maybe fairly complicated as well, but trust me, this is something you really need to understand when finding what suits you in regards to sensitivity. So make sure you listen to this very carefully, and I can only recommend you watch the entire video, therefore you do not miss any valuable information. But yeah, DPI is an abbreviation for dots per inch, and short and simple, it is basically an overall measure of how sensitive your mouse movement is. Your mouse DPI is almost like an overall sensitivity your mouse has system wide. So let's say you were just on your desktop and have your mouse set to a high DPI, your cursor will move a lot faster and further on your screen if you are to move it even with very little force. So then using that same principle, if you have a low DPI instead, if you were to use the same force and move your mouse when it is set to low over high, now your mouse or cursor will move a lot slower and travel at a much smaller distance, and that's just because it is now less sensitive and requires more force and hand, wrist or arm movement, therefore it can move at a faster pace. So yeah, basically think of DPI as built-in mouse sensitivity or overall system cursor sensitivity. And now the reason DPI is actually so important is actually because it is going to be a part of your overall Fortnite sensitivity and take play on eDPI, which is an abbreviation for effective dots per inch. eDPI basically is just your individual set mouse DPI or dots per inch times by your desired in-game sensitivity. So for example, as I myself use 400 DPI on my mouse and 23.0% X and Y sensitivity in Fortnite, I would times 400 by 23, which equals to I think 9,200. Therefore my eDPI overall Fortnite sense is 9,200, and I think that is deemed medium sense. But yeah, you get the idea. And now let's say you maybe happen to think using the same in-game sense 23%, yet instead of 400 DPI you set your mouse DPI to 800, and that will just be the same thing. It is actually far from it, as in that case your effective DPI will now be 18,400, which is basically just double that sense. So if you wish to use the same overall sensitivity, basically what you need to do is half your in-game, therefore it just basically all adds up and is equivalent. I think that's just an easier way to put it. Okay, so now I'm over on Fortnite. What I'm gonna do is actually load into like a creative map right here. Let's just do the BHE 1v1 map. I'm gonna be showing you guys how you can actually find the perfect DPI for yourself. Now as this map's loading, I'm going to mention I got this method, this idea from Fxtch a long time ago. I think about a year ago he made a video on this where he's showing a kind of similar method which will I guess just help you do it properly. Now DPI in Fortnite doesn't really mean much more than this right here. So when you're navigating through your settings maybe and your mouse is moving at a certain rate or speed, and when you're sorting out your inventory, that right there is your DPI working and not your in-game sense. So the speed I can move my cursor right here on the screen and swap around my weapons, my in-game sense has nothing to do with that and won't affect it. This is solely my DPI working here. So I guess what you want to do is basically find what works best in this situation. So I guess a good way to do it would be to jump around and just like find if you can easily and I guess accessibly just move around your slots and your inventory. The way you can actually change your DPI, if you don't know, your mouse will either have like a DPI button on it which allows you to like kind of navigate through and change your DPI to whatever, or you'll have to go into your mouse's software. So the Logitech G Pro is a mouse I use and they do have a software, and you can't change your DPI DPI on the actual mouse, so you do have to go into the software here. And also, may I mention, when changing your DPI, I'd limit yourself to only a few options. So I'd go between 400 DPI, 800 DPI, 1600 or 2000 DPI. Okay, so now you guys have actually found the perfect DPI to use. What you want to do is actually now mess with your actual in-game sensitivity, so actually on the game. So right here, you're going to be changing around your X and Y. So what you want to do is load into a creative map. I guess this map right here would work, but what you want to do is, I guess, come over here and you want to find like a center point on the map, like which you can put on your screen. So I'm going to stand here, and I guess this is kind of like center right here. So basically the goal is to go from one side of your mouse pad to the other side and try and do a full 360 and kind of land your marker dead center to this right here, or whatever you're using as, I guess, a target. So I'm going to just move my mouse right here like this all the way to the other side. And right here you can see I haven't reached the edge of my mouse pad yet, and I've already done more than a 360, so that isn't necessarily good. I myself am going to rework my sensitivity in this video with you guys, but yeah, what that means, I went over, so this current sensitivity is way too high. So what I'm going to do is actually lower this. Let's put it on, I don't know, let's do 15% right here, apply, and now let's do the same thing. So let's move my mouse from one side to the other, and I mean, I guess it nearly does it. We're not right at the edge yet, and I'm still nearly just overdoing it. So what I'm going to do is change this even lower. Let's go to, I guess, we'll do 12.5. Let's give that a try. This is more just trial and error. So 12.5, let's try this. It's never going to be dead accurate, but for the most part, I'm kind of at the edge of my mouse pad. I don't really want to be going much further than this. 12.5 roughly is doing it for this video. I guess I could maybe get it more accurate, but for the most part, 12.5 allows me to do a full 360, reach the end of my mouse pad, go from one side to the other, and I'm kind of reaching back at this point right here. So yeah, you guys will want to do more trial and error, try and find something more perfect. This is just a rough example for the video, but let's just say now I know 12.5 I guess works for me. Seems pretty good. And now guys, you were not just done there. As this is a PSA method, we're going to have to use the PSA method calculator. So what I will do is leave this link in the description right here, the link to this site. Once you're on this site, you want to scroll down to the very bottom, and it will say view calculator in full screen. You want to click that. So basically this kind of has its own algorithm to it, and what it does is based on what you're putting your starting sensitivity in here as, it will keep giving you recommendations solely based on the sensitivities it gives you to try. And you will need to be testing these, and just say you try out some sensitivities and maybe you think that you like them as they are, the higher, lower, you'll basically tell this calculator that, and based on what you're telling it, it'll kind of spell more recommendations, and you'll just keep going and going until you find what fits perfectly for you. This basically just helps you narrow down your options and does it in a very smart way. And how you want to do this is basically your starting sensitivity. That's going to be the one which you just found worked, I guess, the best. So that was 12.5 for me, so I'm going to put that in. And now on the right side of the screen, you're going to have a sensitivity table. This is now recommending some lower, higher, and I guess like a medium to base sensitivity I should try out. For the most part, base is just going to be the starting sensitivity. So yeah, we don't really need to try base. We've already tried that out. It seemed to work fine, but again, we're not 100% sure. So let's now try the higher one, which is 18.75. We're going to round that to 18.8. Let's go into here, go to my sensitivities, change this to 18.8. Okay, so 18.8 right there. Let's do the same thing again. This feels actually a lot faster. Let's move my mouse one side to the other, and that was way too fast. I went way over a 360 and did not meet the middle point. So now what we need to tell this calculator is because the higher was way too high and the lower was too low, but for the most part we want to go with the lower because 12.5 we already tried it and we did go a little bit over, so we want to actually tell it to go lower. We're going to select this box right here, and it's going to give me some more values, some more recommendations. So what we're going to do here is try the new base it gives us one side to the other, the mouse pad, and okay, this was a little bit better than 12.5. As you can see, we didn't meet the middle point exactly, went a little bit over. That wasn't too much difference to 12.5. So again, we are going to have to go lower. We tell the calculator here we want lower. It's going to give us some more value.
2 hours later.
Moving my mouse right here, one side to the other, and I'm at the edge. It's basically there. For this video, I'm just gonna let that stand. I don't really want to bore you guys and keep going through. I understand you probably get this right now. You know how this works. You want to just keep going. For some of you, you may even get to iteration 20 before you find your perfect sensitivity. This isn't perfect, but let's just say 8.5 worked. For the most part, it's nearly there. Now, once you think you found the perfect sensitivity, you can just practice building with it. So just give it a chance. Maybe go into some aim training maps and also give it a chance there. But you want to make sure all round it feels good. So not even just when you do the 360, like sometimes you may get a sense, which for the most part is hitting dead center when you are going from one side of your mouth to the other and trying to find something that works well. But when you're building, it just feels super sluggish and off. It's kind of trial and error, but like let me assure you that this PSA calculator will help out a ton. And yeah guys, that is basically it for the video. There isn't really much more I want to talk about. I wanted to explain thoroughly what goes into your Fortnite sensitivity so you actually understand it, and then basically just guide you in finding what's tailored to you. And I feel I did that kind of well. I think this video is fairly long. I try to keep it, I guess, as short but as formative as possible. Hopefully you can respect that. If you did enjoy the video, the least you can do for me is drop a like. You can always subscribe to the channel as well with post notifications turned on, therefore you never miss an upload just like this. But yeah, I hope everyone has an amazing day. It's been your boy Fxtch, and yeah, peace.